Today, we're diving into something pretty fascinating and honestly a little unsettling about how our minds work. It's a psychological glitch that can make good, ordinary people, well, not so good in a crisis. It all starts with a story that really boils down to three key numbers. First up, 38. That's the number of people who, one night in New York City, just happened to look out their windows. The next number is 35. That's how many minutes they watched a violent, horrifying attack happen right below them. And the final number, the one that's the most chilling of all? 0. That's how many people picked up the phone to call for help, at least until it was way, way too late. And ever since, we've been asking ourselves, why? To really get to the bottom of this, we need to go back in time, back to the one event that absolutely stunned the country and kicked off a whole new field of psychological research. We're talking about the case of Kitty Genovese. So picture this. It's 1964. A woman named Kitty Genovese is attacked right outside her apartment building. The whole ordeal takes more than half an hour. 38 of her neighbors heard her screams. Some even saw parts of what was happening. But that first call to the police, it didn't come until after the attacker had already left for good. The public was, completely floored. How could so many people just do nothing?
And it is so easy to sit here and think, oh, I would have been different. I would have called 911 immediately. But here's the really tricky part. Those 38 witnesses weren't evil. They were normal folks just like us. And that's what makes this so terrifying. It suggests there's some kind of powerful psychological force at play, one that could get a hold of any one of us.
The Kitty Genovese case was so bizarre, so hard to wrap your head around, that it jumped from the newspaper headlines straight into the science labs. Psychologists just had to figure out what was going on in the minds of those witnesses. And leading the charge were two social psychologists, John Darley and Bib Latané. They weren't buying the simple explanation that people were just apathetic. They had a hunch, a hypothesis, that the key variable wasn't people's character, but the sheer presence of other people. And boy, did they come up with some clever ways to test this. So in their most famous experiment, they got a bunch of college students together to talk about their personal problems over an intercom. Everyone was in their own little private room so they could hear but not see each other. Now, one of the students was actually an actor. And partway through the discussion, this actor would pretend to have a terrifying, life-threatening seizure, choking, stammering, and begging for help before going completely silent. The real experiment, of course, was seeing what the actual participant would do. And the results were just not what you'd expect at all. When a participant thought they were the only other person on the line, 85% of them shot out of their room to find help. But, and this is the crazy part, when they thought there were 4 other people listening in, that number dropped like a rock, all the way down to 31%. The more people there were, the less likely anyone was to do anything. They gave this phenomenon a name, the Bystander Effect. So what is going on here? Why does being in a group make us less likely to be helpful? Well, Darley and Latané figured out that there are basically 2 invisible forces that trap us and keep us from acting. The first one is called diffusion of responsibility. It's this feeling that when you're in a crowd, the pressure to do something isn't all on you. It gets spread out, like a drop of ink in a bucket of water, until your personal share of the responsibility feels tiny. The second force is pluralistic ignorance. This is where we look around at everyone else to figure out what to do. You see something that looks like an emergency, but you notice nobody else is freaking out. So you start to think, maybe it's not a big deal. If it were serious, someone would be doing something. The massive problem is, everyone else is looking at you thinking the exact same thing. This really is the little voice inside our heads, isn't it? That internal monologue of diffusion of responsibility. It's not that we're bad people, it's just a mental shortcut our brain takes. Everyone thinks someone else is going to step up and be the hero, so in the end, nobody does. And look, this isn't just about some crazy life-or-death situations from the 1960s. The bystander effect is this quiet, subtle thing that influences how we behave every single day, in ways we probably don't even realize. I mean, think about it. Ever walked past someone kind of slumped over on a bench and thought, oh, someone else will probably check on them? That's it right there. Or what about being in a work meeting when you know a slide has a huge error, but since nobody else says anything, you just keep quiet? That's pluralistic ignorance in the office. It even happens online. You see someone getting torn apart in a comment section and you think, what's my one little comment gonna do? We are constantly diffusing our responsibility. It's absolutely everywhere. So this all sounds a little grim, right? Like we're all just puppets of our psychology. But are we really doomed to just stand by? No, not at all. It turns out there's a really simple but incredibly powerful way to fight back.
And here it is, the big takeaway. The antidote is awareness. Seriously. Study after study has shown that people who simply learn about the bystander effect, people just like you listening to this right now, are dramatically more likely to break away from the crowd and actually do something. Just by understanding these invisible forces, you've already started to loosen their grip.
So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. Looking back, can you think of a time when maybe, just maybe, you fell into this trap? A time when you saw something and you hesitated, waiting for someone else to make the first move? Thinking about it isn't about feeling guilty. It's about being ready. Ready to be the one who acts next time.